Hi, I'm Mitchell Watts and welcome to Town & Country TV. Today we're doing a full-blown tutorial from start to end on the brand new Sync 3 system. This is a 2016 Escape, but don't worry, this video is going to be applicable to all different vehicles, F-150s, the Mustangs. Everything is going into this new Sync 3 system, and we hope that this full-blown tutorial will show you exactly how to use the system from the ground up. So without further ado, let's jump inside and we'll show you everything you wanted to know on this system. All right, let's jump right into the tutorial. When we first hop in the vehicle, you'll notice that when you crank it up, that the screen is going to be the only thing that's different. You'll notice that primarily the entire dashboard, on the Escape anyways, that the entire dashboard, steering wheel, the buttons, the layout, it's all going to be the same. The primary difference that you have here is going to be your actual screen. Now, it looks like it's just a software upgrade, but it is more than a software upgrade. And we'll get into all of that here in just a minute. Things like the navigation system is no longer based on a navigation card. It's actually saved on the hard drive, and we'll get into all of those details because, like I said, this is going to be a lengthy video, but it's going to tell you everything that you could ever dream about on the new Sync 3 system. Now, we've been using the MyFord Touch system since 2011, and so if you are an owner of a vehicle with that MyFord Touch and you're looking for that tutorial, make sure to click on the link right there in the description, and we'll make sure that you get the full tutorial on that. So this is a Sync 3 only video, and it'll tell you everything that you need to know. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, and let's take a look at the general layout of how does the screen look. So the first thing you'll notice is that the home button is now moved to the top left hand side. So no matter where you are in the Sync 3 system, click on the home icon. It will take you back to this screen that you see right here. The nice part about the system is that it's just cleaner, it's easier to find, and hopefully this video should be less time and a little quicker than the MyFord Touch tutorial video, because it's so much easier to operate this system. So you have your buttons up here. You can tap on the home, takes you back to this screen. You can tap on low and it brings up your climate control. And you can also click on the clock and it gives you the ability to change that clock setting. And then you can also basically click on these buttons down here. So that's the basic layout of how does the system look. So you have home, temperature, and then you have your clock, and then down here is your pretty self-explanatory buttons. So you have your audio, climate control, phone, navigation, apps, and settings. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to link in. So if you're watching this on a desktop from YouTube, you can actually click on the links over here on the left hand side, and that will actually allow you to link directly into what you want to know about. So if you want to know how to use the audio system, you can click on that link. If you want to use climate control, phone, navigation, and so on and so on. So I actually own an iPhone 6 Plus, and so that's going to be what our demo is primarily revolving around today. And so what we'll do is, before we do anything else, let's go ahead and pair up a phone, because that is the biggest process, the biggest part of the Sync 3 system is being able to utilize your phone. All right, to pair up your phone, the first thing you want to do is go into the settings button on your iPhone or Android. It works on all different kind of phones. As long as it's got Bluetooth and it's compatible, it'll work. So you hop on Bluetooth and make sure you turn your Bluetooth on. Now the next thing that you want to do is you want to come over here and hit Add Device.
Search for Sync on your device and select Sync once it is found.
It'll pull up and it'll show you that trying to make sure this thing is focusing well. But what you'll do is you'll click on Sync down there at the bottom with your phone. It'll automatically try and pair up together depending on what kind of phone you have.
Confirm that the pin displayed on Sync matches the pin displayed on your device.
So hit yes, saying that the pin is going to be the same, and hit pair on your phone as well.
Please stay alert to changing road conditions and use Sync's voice-activated features while your vehicle is in motion.
All right, and so what it's asking for us is it's telling us, do you want to pair up the phone? Yes, you do. You want to turn the 911 assist feature to on. Automatic download contacts on or off. I recommend leaving that always on. And here is your phone system. So now, once again, I told you your main navigation is going to be down here at the bottom: audio, climate, phone, nav, apps, and settings. everything just about is found in those couple of buttons, those 6 buttons down at the bottom. We'll click on home to go back to the home screen to see what you're used to. Now, what we'll do is we'll concentrate and we'll just go all the way through the different settings, audio, climate, all the way through. So let's go ahead and start off with the audio feature. So if you tap on audio, you'll notice that a lot of this stuff is very much a carryover from the previous year models, the MyFord Touch system. The primary difference is that it's a lot easier to accomplish what you're wanting. Now you'll notice that the general layout of it, you have the button up here for sources. So if you want to change it from FM radio to satellite radio to the Bluetooth streaming audio, whatever the case is, you can actually touch on the sources right there and you can easily change what you're listening to. And so we'll go back. Just wanted to show you what that button is. You have your presets right here, right there at the almost at the bottom of the page. And so if you wanted to save 103.7 as your primary, you can click and hold, and you can see it says preset saved. So pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to work there. Now, once you want to change your preset, you can do that back and forth. You click and hold to save it, you tap it to change it. You can even have 3 sets of presets. So if you have 3 different drivers, like me, my wife, or my son, then you can have a 1 row of presets. My wife can have their row of presets, and he can have his row of presets. So pretty impressive there. Direct tune, tap that in, and you can say I want to listen to 104.7. Now you'll notice that the screen just went black because I'm parked underneath the canopy here at the dealership to keep it a little dark. Well, this is what it looks like when the car senses that it's nighttime outside, because like I said, I'm parked underneath an awning and I have very low light. I'm going to turn the headlights off, and so that automatically will take it back to the bright mode. You can adjust that setting here in a minute. We'll cover that in just a second, but type in your number. It directly dials you to that exact radio station that you want. Now, I wanted to show you how you can do all of this stuff by typing it in, but I also want to show you how easy it is to actually control it with your voice as well. So now on the Escape, the voice button is located on the steering wheel, and it's located on the right-hand side in the center of this little D-pad. So it's that center button right there. Now, here's the cool part about that is if you tap that, it will bring up the ability to voice activate just about everything that you could in the old MyFord Touch system, plus a whole lot more, and it's easier to use those voice commands as well. So if you want to voice activate your radio station, you don't even have to touch this screen or any of these dials at all. It's very easy. Just tap on your voice button right here, which on the Escape is located in the center of the D-pad on the steering wheel. Octane. And it'll automatically change it to the radio station Octane from Sirius Satellite Radio. If you tap it again, radio. Automatically change it back to radio. 104.7. And you see how quickly this system is responding. That's going to be the primary difference between this and the MyFord Touch. Obviously, the layout's completely different, but you'll notice that the hardware behind the screen is a whole lot more advanced, and so the system responds a lot quicker to voice commands and to just general touches. And if you don't believe me, take a look at the other video like we were telling you about just a minute ago, the full tutorial on the MyFord Touch. Compare it to this one, you'll see there is a huge difference. But anyway, so you can see you can voice activate all of that kind of stuff. You can even hit this button right here, and it will also bring up Bluetooth audio and things like that. Now, I mentioned to you to tap on that voice button, and that's very important, especially if you have an iPhone with the Siri capabilities. The reason I say that is because now the Sync 3 system has the ability to control the Siri system, Apple's Siri, through the steering wheel. So literally, if I want to drum up the Siri system, I'm going to put the phone down. It's in the passenger seat, so I don't have access to my phone, or my phone's in my pocket, or if you're a lady, your phone's in your purse, or whatever the case is. You can tap that voice button, and it brings up the MyFord Touch system. Excuse me, Sync 3. I've been saying MyFord Touch since 2011, so bear with me. But you tap it, and it brings up the Sync 3 system. If you hold it, it brings up Siri. And so you literally have full access to your Siri system just by holding, and you'll notice up at the top, Siri. Send a text message to Josh Vanderberg.
Okay, what do you want to say to Josh Vanderberg?
This new Sync 3 system is awesome! Exclamation point.
Your message to Josh Vanderberg says, "This new Sync 3 system is awesome. Ready to send it?"
Yes.
I'll send it.
And so everything you can do through Siri, you can also do it through your car, and you don't have to dig for your phone. Here's the other cool part about that is if you have Apple's new Apple Music system, where you have access to all of their music through the entire database of music, you can summon Siri just by clicking and holding it. Play songs by Metallica.
Looking for Metallica.
And it will automatically change the source on the radio as well to Bluetooth streaming audio. And so now I am wirelessly playing music through Apple's music system, and I have access to every single song right there. So pretty cool stuff there. The system is smart enough to know that if you use Siri to bring up your music, that'll automatically change the source in the Sync 3 system, and it's so much more easy to use. It's so easy to use compared to the MyFord Touch system. Not bashing MyFord Touch. They had some bugs in the beginning, but it's got most of them worked out, but this system is absolutely awesome. So once you're in here, you can obviously pause, play, and skip tracks, all from the screen or all from the steering wheel, or even with your voice as well. You can also set it up to shuffle the music, and then you can also turn the repeat on or the repeat that one song. So pretty cool stuff there, and that's pretty much how the audio system of the Sync 3 system works. Before we move on to the climate system, I want to tell you that you do have the ability to control all of your music by taking your phone and plugging it in, and plugging it into the USB port in the center console. Now, depending on which vehicle it is, the USB ports might be located in a different spot, but in the Escape, it's in the center console. You can plug that in, and you can actually control all of your music with the voice using that system as well. That's the USB feature that will show up when we have a cord plugged in there. So I don't have a cord to show you that right now, and plus, by the way, why would you do that when you have full access to Siri and you can voice activate all of your music that way? So I personally don't use the USB because, one, it could possibly zap your battery for prolonged use. But the main thing is that you still have the access to use all of your music through the Bluetooth wireless system using Siri, and so that's one of the reasons that I am an Apple fan, is they've got great integration there. Before we move off the topic of controlling your radio system, we wanted to tell you a little bit about the Sirius satellite radio feature. You get 6 months of free Sirius satellite radio, but the nice part about it is that you can pause and rewind live satellite radio. So once again, really easy to change over to the voice activated part of the satellite radio. Tap it. Octane. Automatically changes it over to Octane. And the nice part is if you come back into controls and go into audio, you can hit the replay button and you can pause and rewind live satellite radio. A really nice feature that you don't pay any extra for. It's included inside of your Sirius satellite radio subscription. Now let's move into the climate control system. So you can tap climate control, and you can see it's much easier to see and to operate than the MyFord Touch system. As you can see right there on the screen, we just showed you a screenshot of the MyFord Touch versus the Sync 3 system, and there is a big significant difference. Pretty self-explanatory. You can change your temperature, you can turn dual on and off, and you can say that I want this person to be at 60 degrees, I want this person to be at 63. You can adjust the fan speed, all of that taken care of. It's a redundant button from what you have right there on underneath the screen. So a lot of your vehicles are going to have this on screen, but they also have the ability to hit the hard buttons as well. So just kind of wanted to show that to you. And the other nice part is if you adjust the hard buttons, as I'm doing right now, it automatically adjusts it on the screen as well, so you can see it. So even if you're on the home screen, if you say I want to adjust the temperature, it pops up and shows you what I'm changing on screen as well. You can even adjust your fan speed, all of that kind of stuff. So very nice and easy to operate. And that's the main thing that Ford has been pushing with this system, is Ease of use, ease of use, ease of use. And so this is making my tutorial video much, much easier on me. So pop back into climate control. In the MyFord Touch system, you can voice activate a lot of your climate control settings, and depending on how your vehicle is equipped, you can do the same in the Sync 3 system. Not all vehicles will be able to climate control with your voice through the Sync 3 system. It just depends on the vehicle and the trim level. So I don't want to blanket cover it that that's what it is. So like for instance, this vehicle does not have that capability. But some of the other future vehicles may have that capability. But just wanted you to see how you can do that. Next up, let's talk about the phone system. Once again, we've already got our phone paired up. If you don't have your phone paired up, make sure to watch the beginning of this video so you can see how we paired those phones up. Slightly different for Androids and things like that, but it kind of gives you the general idea there. The main menu that you have on your phone is recent call list. Pretty self-explanatory. You can see all the phone numbers, the phone calls that I've called people and people have called me, and phone calls that I've missed as well. You can see your contacts, which this is another benefit of the Sync 3 system, is that they've given you the ability to flip through your page instead of just having to hit the down arrow button every time you want to find to the next page. So it's much more the interface is much easier to use, much easier to jump through, and you can even click on the bar and scroll down. Let's say I want to call Steve Watts. I can scroll down to Steve. You can scroll down to the S's, flip on through until I see Steve Watts, and then you can pull that up and take care of business. You can make phone calls. You can even hit the A to Z jump, and let's say, hey, I want to look for Ashley. You type in A, puts me onto the A's. Hit A to Z jump again, I want to hit H, and it pulls up everything with an H in my contact list. So a very, very easy way to flip through your contacts. Next thing is you can actually click on the big phone icon, and that brings up the settings for the phones. Now, the iPhone does have the ability to read your text messages to you, depending on if you have it set up correctly. And so the way you want to make sure that you do that is on the iPhone is you want to go into the settings mode, and I'll try and focus in on this so you guys can see that. But what you want to do is open up your, click on the I next to the sync system that's connected, and you want to click on show notifications, and you want to turn that on. Otherwise, you will not get text messages through the system. So make sure that show notifications, it does not automatically come on. Make sure to turn that on, then you'll have that ability. So now, once we do that, you have the ability to receive text messages through the system, where the system will read you the text message. So that way you're not sitting there reading and texting while you're driving. It tells you, so you don't have to, you can still get the information, but you don't have to take your eyes off the road, which is pretty cool information. Pretty cool stuff there. All right, so these are just general settings. You can take a look at all the devices that are paired up. You can manage your contacts and turn in the auto download contacts on and off, things like that. You can search for how do you want the contacts to pull up, by first name or last name, pretty self-explanatory. Re-download phone book, self-explanatory, and delete phone book, self-explanatory. I don't know why you would delete your phone book unless you just use Siri 100% of the time, which is pretty much what I do for your contacts, and it makes it pretty easy. So that way you can just hit here, click and hold for Siri, call my wife.
Calling Ashley Watts.
And so we're not going to do that. I'm going to hang up, but you get the idea. Is you have the ability of using your contacts through Siri, or you can use your contacts through this sync system. Either one is perfectly fine by me, but I would recommend put display contact photos on there, because that's just a pretty cool feature there. You can turn the text message notification. You can set which you can set what kind of tone you want it to have. You can even select it to automatically voice read out your text message. So pretty cool stuff. I'm going to turn the alert one on. And then just other things like, hey, do you want it the stereo system? Do you want the audio to mute when you put your phone into privacy mode? So let's say if you're in the car with a client and you're getting a phone call from another client, you don't want them to hear each other talking, you can just turn that to on, and when you put the phone up to your ear, it will automatically mute all the rest of the audio in the car versus letting the radio play. So it just kind of gives you a little bit extra quietness, able to hear who you're talking to. The next thing that is pretty self-explanatory is Siri. You tap on this, cancel.
There's nothing to cancel.
And so that's the Siri button that you have right there. I'm going to turn her back off. But you can summon Siri this way, or you can click and hold on the speaker button, the voice button as well. So tap it to bring up the sync system, hold it to bring up Siri if your iPhone is equipped with it. Do not disturb is one of my favorite features. Have you ever had a bad day at work and you just want some peace and quiet while you're on the way home? Or maybe it's a safety thing. You don't believe in making phone calls while you're driving down the road. There's nothing wrong with that. You hit that do not disturb button, and what will happen is the sync system will automatically block all incoming phone calls to you, so you won't even know that you had a phone call until you get home, get out of your car, and look down at your phone. So there's a couple of really good reasons for that do not disturb feature. I personally like it. It's a great way to kind of unwind after a long day. Phone keypad's pretty self-explanatory. If you wanted to dial directly a number that you saw off of a billboard, you can do that and hit call. While we're in here, you can see that you can end the call from the screen or on the actual D-pad. In fact, let's call that number again so we can test it out and I can show you. I didn't mean to hit the end call button yet. So let's see here, 205-491-0000. All right. And so what'll happen is you can hit mute, which is exactly what it sounds like. You can mute it to say, like if you're at the drive-thru, you can mute it.
Untitled Ford, may I help you?
Hey, this is Mitchell. I'm just testing out the sync system. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
And then you can hit mute, privacy, or you can even dial a keypad, so that way if you're going through a phone tree calling a business or something, you have that ability as well. So very, very nice feature. You can even go into your text messages. I'm going to go ahead and once again, this is the first time I've set my phone up to the text messages, and you should be able to pull up your text messages. So now if I have someone that sends me a text, it will automatically show up on my system. So that's what it looks like when someone sends you a text message. So you can either view it or hear it. So let's hear it.
What's for lunch?
So you can view it as well. Once again, if you're stopped, Ford has got some measures in place so you're not texting and driving, but we're stopped and the vehicle's in park, so you can actually read the text message. You can hear it.
What's for lunch?
And you can do a lot of really nice things with that. So you can view it. You can even call that person back if you want to. A lot of different options there with the text message. And once again, I've got Siri, so I can hold the voice button, and I can even send text messages back without ever taking my eyes off the road. And that pretty much takes care of the phone section of the Sync 3 system. All right, now let's talk about the navigation system. Now keep in mind that not all Sync 3 systems are going to have navigation from the factory. And so you can get this whole setup without having the navigation portion to the vehicle. And at this time, the system is still so new, we don't know if you can add navigation after the fact. So make sure that if it's important to you to go ahead and make sure that your vehicle has navigation or doesn't have navigation, depending on what's important to you. And so this portion of the navigation system is really, really nice. You'll notice that right off the bat, we're located in Bessemer, Alabama. And then if you just touch on nav, it automatically brings up the map of where you're located. You'll notice that the menu actually dropped out of the way once it realized that I wasn't going to want to put anything into the system. And so it's got a nice way of hiding the information. And then if you touch controls, it brings back up all of your options as far as the navigation on the bottom side, navigating through the sync system on the bottom. And then you can even type in a specific address that you want to go to, and you can also use this over your voice. And so without further ado, let's take a look and just kind of show you some real world applications of the navigation system. So I'm going to touch on controls. It brings up all my controls. You can zoom in and zoom out of your map, and I want you to notice how quickly this thing is operating. And one of the newest features that Ford has been excited about is the ability to pinch to zoom, just like on your iPhone. So if you pinch to zoom, it can zoom in, and you can also zoom out just by moving the map however you want to. Now if you did this in the MyFord Touch system, it would probably freak out on you because it does not have the computer prowess to be able to pull something like this off. It's It's not a bad system, but it's not as nice as this is. So if you move that cursor off from where the vehicle is and you want to get circled back in on where the vehicle is located, just touch on that little button right there, and looks like a little car, and it zooms you back into where you are. I'm going to touch controls again, and you can zoom back in. Now, another nice part about the Sync 3 system, which was also a feature of the MyFord Touch system, is the ability to, you see that right now wherever we're facing is pointed up, and this is a 2D map, two-dimensional. If you tap on that little arrow up at the top, it'll bring you right into a 3D mode, which is what most of my clients prefer because it kind of gives you more of a depth perception of where you're located compared to the streets. And then once again, you can still zoom in, zoom out. And then if you tap on that arrow button again, it puts it to wherever north is up, the north is always pointed up no matter how the vehicle is oriented. Most people get confused like that, but some people do prefer it that way. So I'm going to put it back into 3D mode, and then from here you can click on the search button, and you can search for all different kinds of things. Now, we have not set up a home or a work number yet, work address yet, so let's go ahead and set that up. Let's go ahead and set up work, add a favorite to work, hit yes. And I work at Town & Country Ford in Bessemer, so we'll type in their address, 5041 Ford Parkway. Now you'll notice that the keyboard layout is a whole lot better than the old MyFord Touch. In the old MyFord Touch, you'd have to break out the number. So 5041 would have to go in one section, then you'd have to put Ford Parkway in another section, then you'd have to put Bessemer in another section. Not true in this one. You just type out what you want, you hit search, and it'll automatically find that for you, so it's much more user-friendly. That's, once again, that's the main thing that Ford was harping on, was the ability to make this system where anybody could use it, no matter who you are, what your technological background looks like. So we'll go ahead and save that as my work address. Now, we have two locations. We have a location in Bessemer, which is where we're located. We also have a location in Pell City. I'm just going to, because I don't want to give you guys my home address, I'm going to set up our other location as my home address. So tap on home, hit yes, and I'm going to start typing it in. 1101 Martin Street North. And you'll notice that when you get it typed out, the back button is located where it should be instead of having it hanging out down here. It's just very easy to use this system. There you go. That's it. Hit save. Now you have it set up. Now, I'm not going to answer this phone call, but I do want you to see that's what it looks like. You can either answer the phone call right here from the steering wheel, or you can tap accept or reject. For the sake of the video, we're going to reject that phone call so that way we can keep going. But now we have both of our addresses saved, my home address and my work address. Now, when we come back, it's very simple to say, hey, I want to go home. Well, I'm going to tap home, and it's 51 minutes away.
Obey traffic laws, be alert, and use voice commands while driving.
Did you see how fast it created those directions?
Please proceed to the highlighted route, and then the route guidance will start.
This system is so much faster than the previous MyFord Touch system, and I hope you could see that in what you just saw there. Now, what we'll do is, before we get into showing you what the navigation system looks like, I'm going to show you other ways that you can use and set up directions. One of the only systems on the market right now that you can actually get directions in a vehicle while you're driving down the road with your voice. And so there's not very many manufacturers out there that have that capability. So let's go back into the menu button over here. So if you didn't see where we hit the controls button over here on the bottom left-hand side, and then we're tapping on menu. From here, you can adjust and edit all of the different things in the navigation system. You can look at the screen, how it's viewed, the navigation settings, which are things like your map preferences, route preferences, and navigation preferences. So if you wanted to say, hey, I wanted to look at the quickest route, or I want to look at the one that's best on fuel economy, you can adjust that however you want to. So what we'll do is we'll come back here. You can say, hey, I want to always use the fastest route, or whatever the case is. You have the ability to edit all this different kind of stuff. Map preferences, you want to turn on the 3D city model. You can turn on breadcrumbs, points of interest icons. I always like to turn those on. And then you can even look at the incident map icons. So you can, this system will tell you if there's a traffic jam, a road closing, road work, anything like that. So really, really nice. Go into the traffic list. You can actually see this gets this information from Sirius's travel link system, which starting with the with this vehicle right here, you actually get 5 years worth of free Sirius travel link, which is very, very strong. It used to be only 6 months, and so now it is 5 years worth of traffic information. You can see where you're located. You can cancel the route, which we'll come back to that in just a second. You can mute the guidance. My wife prefers this setting simply because she knows how to get home, but it shows you how much longer you have until you get home. And so it's just kind of a mental thing where when she wants to look at it, she can see it, but she doesn't need the guidance every single time. That's how you mute that, but you can still get the route directions and things like that. View the route, it's pretty self-explanatory. You hit that and it shows you exactly how you're getting from one point to the other. You can zoom in once again by pinching and zooming. You can pan, all that kind of stuff. So it's more intuitive, very similar to an iPhone, or more similar to an iPhone than what it used to be. And then you can even take a look at detours. You can even calculate different detours, all that other kind of stuff. Very, 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 very user-friendly, but very powerful at the same time. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and cancel the route so I can show you how to use and set up directions using other methods. So now what we wanted to do is let's come into destination. We'll tap on destination. You can search for an address, a city, or a points of interest. So let's say if you wanted to go to Town and Country Ford, but you don't know the address, that's where you would search that. You can look at all your previous destinations that you've already set up, that you've already been to. You can set new favorites. So let's say you wanted to add your lake house. You can add another favorite, or add your sister's house or your brother's house, or anybody. You can set up your favorite addresses right there under the favorites menu. Now you can also look at food icons, fuel icons, any points of interest you can think of, you can just about find through this system. But let's show you how it works. Let's say we wanted to go to the Apple Store because I wanted to go pick up the new iPhone 12. So you can type in search and just start typing in Apple Store. Apple Store, tap on Apple Store up at the top. It automatically pulls up the name, the address, the phone number. You can call, you can save that address for later if you want to, or you can start your directions to get there. Any of those, all great options. Hit start. I never had to know.
Please proceed to the highlighted route, and then the route guidance will start.
And so it's really nice because I didn't actually have to have the address to get to the Apple Store. You can just search for it by name. Very, very neat stuff. So once again, we'll go into controls, hit menu, and we will cancel the route. Hit yes, but what I want to do is show you how you can cancel the route just in case you're driving. You don't need to be flipping through the screen. How do you cancel the route? Once again, tap the voice icon right here. Tap it, not hold it. Cancel route.
Cancel route. Yes or no?
Yes.
Canceling route.
And so you can cancel the route with your voice, or you can cancel it on the screen as well. So that's how you take care of that. Go back into destinations. We've pretty much shown you how you can do all of this stuff. Let's say we want to take a look at fuel. You can actually sort and sift through here and look at all of the fuel stations that are nearby you. But you also have the ability to see what the current gas mileages are going to be. So you can hit to the apps over here. We'll get a little bit more in this in a second, but you can actually get fuel prices across the entire state, across the entire United States. And so pretty neat stuff. Since I'm underneath the awning, Sirius does not have a good connection, so we'll show you that feature here in just a few minutes. Now let's talk about how do you set up a direction or a navigation system while you're driving down the road. It's very simple. All you have to do is tap this voice button. Destination street address.
In Alabama, please say the street address including the city. To search in another state, say change state.
1101 Martin Street North, Pell City.
I was unable to find that exact address. Please say the line number of the selection that most closely matches.
1.
When ready, press the voice button and then say set as destination.
Set as destination.
Setting destination.
And so for some reason it didn't hear.
Please proceed to the highlighted route and then the route guidance will start.
For some reason, the sync system didn't understand me exactly, but from what I've been using, I've been driving this car for the last couple of days, learning all about it so I can present this video to you. And from what I have found is very intuitive. For the most part, it's going to catch it 100% of the time. And but anyways, this is just us being very transparent on the video. But once again, you can come back in here and you can voice activate just about anything. So I'm going to hit the voice button and cancel the route so I can show you some other ways. Cancel route.
Cancel route. Yes or no?
Yes.
Canceling route.
Destination POI, and that stands for points
By
of
name
interest.
or by category?
By name.
Search where?
Nearby.
POI name.
Ruby Tuesdays.
Please choose.
1.
When ready, press the voice button and then say
Set as destination.
setting new destination.
So now I have directions to the Ruby Tuesdays that I knew
Please
it was in
proceed
Bessemer.
to the highlighted route and then the route guidance will start.
And so you can see it's very simple, very easy to get the directions even if you don't know the address. And notice I never touched that screen. I simply did everything with my voice. And so to search for a business, you want to say destination POI, and that stands for points of interest. And so if you wanted to search for a specific address, if you know the address, then you want to say destination street address. If you don't know the address, destination POI. Now there are some other features that you can use on the Sync 3 system, and let me show you those now. I'm hungry.
Search where?
Nearby.
Please choose.
And as you can see, it pulls up every single one of the restaurants that's nearby me. And so it's really, really nice if
I
you're...
didn't hear you. Please say the...
So if you're out of town, don't know where you are, and you just say, hey, I'm hungry, the system will automatically know what you mean. It'll pull up all of the restaurants, and then you can go from there. Very, very cool stuff. Cancel. All right, and so from here, what you can do, that pretty much takes care of a lot of the different destination things that you can set up off the top of your head. Now, if you let's say you wanted a hotel room, you can just tap on hotel. You can look at nearby, along your route, or near your destination, or in a specific city. So let's say I know that I'm going to be doing a road trip from here to New York, and I want to go ahead and reserve my hotel room on the way up there. Well, you can go ahead and set up your route, and then you can get the destination, you can get your hotel room listed, pulled up anywhere along the route or at the actual end destination, the end city. So very, very nice stuff that you can do that right there from the screen, or you can also do that from the voice button right here. Destination POI.
By name or by category?
By category.
Search where?
Nearby.
Say a category.
Automotive.
Say a category.
Vehicle maintenance and repair.
Please choose.
1.
When ready, press the voice button and then say set as destination, set as waypoint.
So there you go.
or
We just
dial
got
the
directions right to our collision center, our state-of-the-art collision center, without ever having to know the address or even the name of the company. I just said, hey, I wanted to look at all of my options for automotive repair, and you saw all the different categories you have in there. The options are nearly endless. Now, is Google going to be a little bit better on your phone? Maybe. But should you be looking on Google on your phone while you're driving? Definitely not. I would feel perfectly fine doing this while driving because I don't even have to look at the screen to do it. I just hit the voice button and say what I want. It automatically pulls it up for me. This is one of the reasons that I would highly recommend that if you think you may or may not use navigation, you might as well go ahead and get it because it is a very, very nice feature. All right, so now we're actually driving the vehicle, and I want to show you some real-world applications of the navigation system. So we've got a Chick-fil-A that's located close to us, and I love chicken, so that's where I'm actually going to head to go get some lunch while I'm doing this video for you. So what I'm going to do is, let's say I don't know how to get there, but I know it's close. You can tap on the voice button, destination POI.
By name or by category.
By name.
Search where?
Nearby.
POI name.
Chick-fil-A.
Please choose.
3.
Please choose.
1.
When ready, press the voice button and then
Set as destination.
setting new destination.
All right, so once again, we've been tapping this voice button, and I never had to touch the screen to set the destination. Now that I'm on the way to Chick-fil-A to go get my sandwich, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set up and send a text message to my coworker to see if he wants anything. To do that, I'm just going to bring Siri up by clicking and holding the voice button. Tell Greg Cooks, would you like anything from Chick-fil-A? ?
Your message to Greg Cook says, would you like anything from Chick-fil-A? Ready to send it?
Yes. So once again, I never had to take my hands off the steering wheel. I get all of my communication taken care of. I get the directions that I need. Everything is taken care of in a really easy, smooth way to use it. So what I wanted to show you is that while you're in the navigation and getting your directions, you'll notice that by default, the system automatically drops everything away from the screen unless you need it. So it tells me that I'll be there at about 10:37 in the morning. So if you tap on that, it tells you I'm 5 minutes away from Chick-fil-A, and that's located at the top right hand of that screen. On the top left hand side, it tells you how much further until I have to turn left or turn right. It tells me the actual street name that you're going to be turning on. And then once again, we are looking at a 3D model of the map. So it's a very, very nice way of seeing it, and it's easier to see that way in my personal opinion. I'm going to hit controls, and I can even zoom in a little bit so I can see a little bit how the road is broken out. And then after just a minute, the screen will go back away, so that way it hides the buttons that you don't need access to. To get the access to those buttons is really simple. Just tap back on the controls icon, and then that's how that works. Now you'll also notice that it tells you at the very, very bottom in the center, it tells you the current street that you're on. It tells me that I'm on Academy Drive, and then it even tells me what the speed limit is. As you can see that, I hope my arm's not blocking it, but it tells me that the speed limit right now is 30 miles an hour, a very, very nice feature. So that way, if you just happen to drive past the speed limit sign and don't know what it is, that you can look on your navigation screen. And I wouldn't use this as 100%, but at least as a good guideline of what the current speed limit might be. Now keep in mind that this map for the navigation system in the old system was set up on a tiny little SD card that you had to slide in there, and then people would lose it, and it would cost you anywhere from $100 to $200 to replace that SD card. And that's no more. Now the maps are all saved on the sync system's background, so it's very, very nice. You don't lose it. You don't have to worry about. We had a couple customers. Oh, my navigation system's not working right. Well, what it was is they had a bunch of stuff loaded up in their center console, and it was rubbing all over the SD card, and it was causing the SD card. As they were driving erratically, it was causing the SD card to wiggle, and it would lose connection, and then it would lose the maps, and then they would lose directions at the absolute worst time. Well, now, since it's built into the hard drive, you don't have that worry anymore, and you also don't have to worry about losing the SD card after the fact.
In 1/10 of a mile, turn right onto 4th Avenue Southwest.
All right, so Greg responded to our text message, so I can hit the voice button and say, read me my message.
Message 1. No, I'm good, thanks.
So now I know that I don't need to pick anything up for them from Chick-fil-A, but it's just a really nice way to be able to get the directions you need. You can communicate the way you want. You can tell that Ford has spent the time to do this right. When the MyFord Touch system first came out in 2011 Model Edge, it was not ready. And I hate saying that, The end product of the MyFord Touch did have a good story, good end to the story, but it did not have a good beginning to the story. And so, anyways, you can tell that Ford has spent the time. They took their time and said, you know what, we want this thing to be right, because they cannot afford to have another fiasco like the MyFord Touch launch. And so I'm very, very pleased that, like I said, the last couple of days I've been driving this thing, and it has been spot on.
In 1/4 mile, keep left onto McCalla Road.
Now, unfortunately, she can't figure out how to pronounce McCalla, but maybe that's just our southern accent. And once again, I know I've mentioned this before, if you want to cancel your route, just make sure you click the voice button. Don't hold it. Remember, you tap the voice button to talk to the sync system. You hold it to talk to Siri if your iPhone is equipped. So I'm going to tap on the voice button and say cancel route. Cancel route.
Cancel route. Yes or no?
Yes.
Canceling route.
The last feature we want to talk about on the navigation system is a very nice enhancement. It's not really a tutorial part of it, but it's an enhancement. Now, when you voice activate a direction, instead of having to say 5041 Ford Parkway, you can now bunch the numbers together and say 5041 Ford Parkway. They've made Sync 3 smart enough to know the difference and know that they're actually the same. All right, so now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and move on into the apps section of the system. Keep in mind that anytime that you're anywhere in the system and you get confused, tap on the home icon on the top left-hand side, and that will automatically take care of any kind of concerns you have of getting lost inside the Sync 3 system. So what we'll do is tap on the apps icon on the bottom. Now you'll notice that I have an iPhone, and this is one of the downsides to the iPhone, is that the apps portion, you actually have to have it plugged into the USB. So to use the Pandora app and things like that, you actually have to have an iPhone plugged in. Some of the Android phones, you do not have to have that. That it will automatically pair up and use Spotify or use Pandora. You can do that wirelessly, but not on the iPhone. So what we're going to show you today is primarily just the Sirius Travel Link, which is still a very, very nice feature. Once again, 5-year subscription included free with your new vehicle purchase. Tap on Sirius Satellite, Sirius Travel Link, and you have all of these different things that you can look at and you can explore. You can have a traffic list, which will pull up all the different incidences that you have around the area, or if you have a direction set up on the actual route that you're set up to go on. So that's a really nice feature. Movie listings is exactly what it sounds like. You can tap on that and you can go through and you can say, hey, I want to look at the Premier Cinemas, which is really close to us. You can either start directions, you can save that as a contact, call them, or click on show times, and it even tells you that the Minions are playing today at 12:15, 1:50, 2:40, and so on. Really, really nice feature, and you can scroll through here and see everything that you want to see. Now you can also go into sports info and you can even set up your specific teams. So let's say that you wanted to add Alabama football or whatever, it doesn't matter. You can set it up. But let's say you wanted to type in NFL, you wanted to do the Atlanta Falcons or whoever, it doesn't matter. I'm not telling you to pick specific sports teams, but you get the idea. Florida State. And then from here, you can even go into my specific teams, and you can even see all of the nice things, the scores and things like that are going on. You can look at lots of different things. You can look at schedules, scores, whatever the case is that you want, you can do that right from the sports info. Subscription information, as you can see, you have full, and this is something that I've not seen in the MyFord Touch system, so it's kind of refreshing to see this, but you can see audio, traffic, weather, fuel prices, movie time, sports, and you can see that it's all subscribed. If you have any questions, you can actually call directly to Sirius Satellite Radio right from there. And oh, by the way, when you do run out of your subscription, you want to look at this ESN number. That is the identification number that Sirius Satellite Radio will use to update your subscription. So that's how you get to that. Go to Sirius Travel Link and then click on subscription information. Fuel prices, pretty self-explanatory. You can actually see what the fuel prices are going for right now. So you can see Texaco is the closest one for $2.38 a gallon. You can sort that, which is by default is by distance. We can now say, hey, I want to sort it by price, because I'm concerned about fuel mileage. So now you can say that the Raceway, which is 7 minutes away, is only $2.34 a gallon. Pretty strong right there. You can even sort it by specific types of fuel. So diesel fuel, gas, super, regular, whatever the case is. You get the idea. Weather. This is pretty cool right here as well. You can see the current weather. You can scroll through there just like you normally can on everything else. You can view current 5-day weather forecast, as you can see right there, but you can also view the map, which is very, very nice. Now, if you've ever played with this feature on the MyFord Touch system, it takes like 5 or 6 times longer than that to pull it up. Today we're on a very, very bright and sunny day, so there's only just a few clouds out, but you kind of get the idea. Not a whole lot going on in Alabama as far as weather area goes right now, but you can look at radar, all that kind of stuff. You can even do ski conditions. We don't get a lot of that in Alabama, but it's available to you if you want it. All right, now let's take a look at the settings, and this is important to make sure you have these set up so that way you have the best experience out of the Sync 3 system as you can possibly get. So go into settings, and this tells you everything that you could know, you would ever know about the system. Make sure you set up your sound, and here's the cool part is in the old system you'd have to tap to get it to set up right. No, I like my treble all the way up. I like my mid-range just a little bit less than that. I like my bass a little less than that. So it's a whole lot easier to set that up just because the interface is more intuitive. You can set the balance and fade. You can even drag where you want that to go instead of having to use the specific arrows. And so it's really, really nice in how you set that up. You can adjust your speed adaptive volume, pretty self-explanatory, and you can even set it up, how do you want the sound to be primarily produced, out for all seats or just the driver's seat. All right, so the next thing is the clock. We've already shown you another way to access that. You can click on, if you're in the home screen, you can click on the actual 12:01 or click on the time at the very top, and it'll take you there. Or you can go like we did, go into settings and then clock, and then now you're where you need to be. Bluetooth sounds pretty self-explanatory. That's how you can add a separate device. In the old MyFord Touch system, you could add up to 12 devices, and I haven't tested it, but I don't see any reason why that would have changed in this system. You can actually add multiple Bluetooth devices.
Search for sync on your device and select sync once it is found.
And so that's how you would add a second phone if you had more than one person driving this car. You can set that up, a wife, husband, or even if it's a business, you can have multiple people doing that, and you can even view all of those devices right there. Phone is pretty self-explanatory. This is the same phone menu settings that we found over here at the bottom when you click phone and then click on Mitchell's iPhone Plus. That's the same redundant setting. It's found in multiple places to make it easy to navigate through the system. Sirius, pretty self-explanatory. You can set a category for Seek. You can say, hey, I want to look at, I really only like rock and roll, or I only like hip hop, or I only like Christian music, or whatever the case is. You can filter it down and say, hey, I want to search by only that category. Now, this is a very nice feature if you have younger people that don't need to be listening to some of the inappropriate stations on Sirius satellite radio, is you can actually pop in a PIN number, a 4-digit PIN, so that way your kid can't listen to those specific Sirius radio stations that are very, very strong in nature. Navigation, same navigation preferences that we found earlier that we've already gone over. They're found right here. You can address everything that you want right there with those settings. Mobile apps is exactly what it sounds like. You need to turn those on first and then answer the question, yes. And then if your phone supports wirelessly, then it'd be set up. If it doesn't, your iPhone would have to be plugged in, but that's how you take care of that. General, it's pretty self-explanatory as well. You want to set up your miles or kilometers, depending on what your preference is. Touchscreen beep, you can turn that on and off, so that way every time you touch it, it's not beeping at you. I kind of like that on because it tells me when I am and am not able to actually touch the screen or that kind of thing. But, automatic system updates, this is very important. If you don't do anything else, make sure you set this up. Very, very important. Listen to me. Set this up. Turn that to on. and hit yes. And what this basically does is it will use your Wi-Fi network at your house to automatically update this system, so you don't have to bring it into the dealership. And I know everybody loves going into the dealership here. I mean, I work for a Ford dealership, but we're realistic. We expect, most people just don't like to come up here and spend a Saturday to update their sync system. So this system will automatically do that for you. You just have to set it up. So when you set up the automatic system updates, you hit View Networks, and now I'm going to hook up to my Wi-Fi at the house, or in this situation at the dealership. I'm going to type in our password. Hit done. It'll connect to my wireless network, and now it'll prompt me anytime that I need to do an update. It'll prompt me, and I can do that from the convenience of my home, not having to actually go into the dealership to get an update. Very cool feature. You can also view which specific version you have right there. Software license and the about, it's pretty self-explanatory. Master reset, keep in mind that if you do a master reset, all of this data that we put in, as far as pairing your phone up, as far as saving addresses and all this other kind of stuff, is going to get deleted if you do a master reset. But if you are having any issues, like when we were having issues with the MyFord Touch, that was one of the things that we would do, and it would take care of a lot of the issues, is doing master reset. So that's where that master reset button is if you have any issues with this Sync 3 system. But from what I can tell, you're not going to have any issues. Slide over and we can take a look at the 911 Assist. This is a free feature that you'll never have to pay for. There's a lot of other manufacturers that have an ability to call 911 in the event of an accident, but they charge you monthly after your free trial is over. Well, this 911 Assist, what it does is it uses your phone that's paired up to the sync system, and it calls 911 in the event of an accident, or if the fuel shutoff switch in the vehicle is flipped. It will automatically call 911 even if you're not able to. And so that is a free feature you will never ever have to pay for. It connects you directly to the operator. Now here's the other benefit of that is, let's say it connects you to 911. It says, are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. Well, what happens if there's fuel pouring out everywhere? Well, obviously you don't need to stay in the car so you can make that phone call to 911. Well, you can just cut your car off, hop out, grab your phone, and put your phone up to your ear, and you never lost the call to 911. You never had to drop the call, but yet you can still walk away to safety. So a very, very nice side benefit of that 911 Assist. And here's the cool thing is you can set up emergency contacts. So let's say if I want to set up my wife, Ashley Watts, I just scroll down to Ashley Watts, select her name, select her phone number, and boom, that's set up as the emergency contact. Yet another nice enhancement to the Sync 3 system. Coming on over to the Wi-Fi, we've already set up our Wi-Fi, but you can actually see which wireless networks are available. You can connect or change which one you're looking at, and you've got all of the Wi-Fi settings in there. Vehicle settings, the camera settings, this is a pretty cool thing as well. You have the enhanced park aids where it'll automatically show you, as you can see in that little image right there, that the closer you get to something, there's a block of yellow, red, or green that shows you how close you are to that object behind you so you don't hit it. You also have a rear camera delay, so that way if you're in reverse and you put it back in drive, that it gives you a couple of seconds delay before turning the camera off, so that way you can just see, you know, if you're kind of doing a 3-point turn kind of a thing, you don't, the camera's not flickering back and forth. Just another nice little feature to customize it the way you want it. Display, pretty self-explanatory. I like the brightness all the way up and set the mode to automatic. Or if you just say, hey, you know what, I've got sensitive eyes, I just want to always change it to night, well, it'll automatically turn to what you see here, which is a black screen with white letters, and that makes it really, really nice to see at the nighttime. So just a nice feature as well. I'm going to go change that back to automatic so that way you guys can see the rest of this tutorial. Voice control, it's pretty self-explanatory. Advanced mode is something that I would recommend after you get a little bit of use out of the Sync 3 system. What it basically does, it removes many of the voice prompts that helps you to start speaking sooner. Basically, it's a little more advanced. If you've used this system for longer than a couple days and you know your primary prompts that you're used to saying, Just set it up like that with advanced, and it'll help speed up the process. That is by default turned off. So I would recommend turning that on each one of those. Phone confirmation basically confirms, is that who you really wanted to call before you call them? And then a voice command list, as you can see, that basically it's a list of valid commands when listening for a voice command. So it just helps you with the voice control. Valet mode is a very, very nice feature. You have some concerns with some people that, hey, I pull up to a restaurant, I don't want them being able to see what my home address is when that valet driver's in my car, because then he can go rob me that night. That's some of the concern that floats out there. Well, you can actually set up a valet mode. You can set up a 4-digit PIN so they can't access any of this stuff until you get back in the car and you put the PIN in. So you can say, hey, I want my PIN to be 1999. Hit done. Confirm it. Oh. And so now valet mode is enabled. You can't do anything with this system until you put that code back in there. So it's a nice feature, so that way you can set up all of the nice features of the sync system with your home address and your work address, but you don't have to worry about the security of that person possibly knowing where you live and where you work. And there you have it, the full tutorial of the Sync 3 system. Keep in mind that this video, if only 1 or 2 people sees this video, this thing's really not going to work out for us. The reason we make these videos so detailed is to hope that some people will get some use out of it and share this information with their friends or family or co-workers that may be interested in a vehicle. Or we have this weird philosophy that if we help enough people, we don't have to worry about money. So we hope this video truly was a help to you and not a sales pitch, because that's not at all what it was supposed to be. And we just hope you enjoyed the video. We're hoping that it helped you out with your brand new Sync 3 system. If you will, leave us some questions in the comments below, and we'll make sure that we do our best to answer those questions for you. Even if you didn't buy a car from us, we don't care. We just want to help you. And so make sure to also hit that subscribe button, because we got some really, really cool videos coming out. And then also take a look at some of these videos that we've got on our YouTube channel as well. Like right here, if you click right there, we actually did a burnout of a 50-year limited edition Mustang. There's only 1,964 of these in the world, and we roasted the tires off of them. So you can click right there to watch that video, or you can click over here to subscribe to our channel. Once again, thank you for watching Town & Country TV. I'm your host, Mitchell Watts. Have a great day.